the reason isn't for a monetization, but I don't besmirch anyone who is motivated by that. It's a bit of a tough decision.
Hey, y'all, it's Dr. Know-It-All. I am privileged to be with Bradford Ferguson today. He is President and Chief Investment Officer at Halter Ferguson and specifically Rebellionaire.com, who is a really big supporter of us content creators. If you've seen the
Mhm.
little like lion square little thing next to my name on X, that is Rebellionaire, and we really appreciate you. So thank you for being here. We are going to talk about something a little unfortunate today, which
Yeah.
is Univision's um, potential abuse of the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. So welcome, Bradford, and it's great to have you here with us. Thanks.
Yeah, I wanted to shine the light, and I'm glad that you reached out to me. I'm one of the creators affected on YouTube by what Univision has done, and want to take people through it. And I can actually show you, what I'm dealing with as far as the choices I have
Right.
to make in response to this. So we'll get into that by the end.
Very cool. So yeah, like first of all, I'm going to do a really quick, let me just go ahead and share my screen and do a Wikipedia-based definition of the DMCA. So this was passed in 1998. Copyright law that implements two 1996 treaties, blah, blah, blah. It criminalizes production and dissemination of technology devices or services intended to circumvent measures to control access to copyrighted works. Uh, Digital rights management, and criminalizes the act of circumventing and access control, whether or not there is actual infringement of copyright itself. And it goes on, and you can read this yourself if you want to. But the sort of TLDR of this is that this was a very, very broadly stated um, Copyright Act. And wow, it's a quarter of a century old now. That's just crazy to think about
Mhm.
that. But it has really created a circumstance where some large actors who have big legal teams can, let's say, potentially abuse their power
Yeah.
against the people. So it has been utilized under some circumstances. I want to be a little bit careful here. Now,
And it's,
I'm not a lawyer,
but
but
John, it's protecting us from the pirates.
there we go.
I
Yeah,
guess I
that
guess
that
we're
was
the pirates now. The content creators are the pirates.
yeah,
But it's not like we're sitting here on a Twitch stream just like
right.
playing a bunch of videos and not adding content to anything.
Right, right. Yeah, so the specific case in this case, and there have been many, many others over the past 25 years, but this specific case stems from the new Teslabot video. I did a video on it within hours after it came out. I used the X stream that Tesla AI had put up. Thus far, I have seemed to sneak under this, but many, many other content creators, including you and Farzad, and a lot of other folks have been flagged, and I think what they've done is they've escrowed any earnings. I think that's what they've done. So they haven't definitely given it to Univision, but they've taken it away from the content creators like you. So tell me, like, I don't know, just go back to the story of like when you found out what happened, how many hours after you posted the video did it happen, that kind of a thing.
Yeah, so we got our video posted in the afternoon yesterday around 4 or 5. And then later on, I caught wind of what Farzad was talking about on X. So
Right.
I found
Oh,
out
if you
a
want to
bit
share, did
late.
you have that screen
Yeah,
grab of
I'll
like,
share
yeah,
that.
that'd be
Yep.
cool because you could see that. I think he was the first person, at least that I knew about, that flagged this as a problem. And
And
by the
I'm
way, if you don't know who Univision is, they are a legacy media company that I think is owned by NBC now. Is that correct? But it's a Spanish
yes.
language legacy media station. So yeah, how that has to do with TeslaBot, I don't know. But anyway, continue.
So Farzad brought it to our attention, and he showed the notice that they got from YouTube. And essentially, what's happening is Univision is saying that um, all these creators are using their content, and instead of Farzad being able to monetize it or others, um, that Univision might actually get the proceeds from this video from like all these different creators.
Right.
Um, and Elon did respond to this and said, "Weird. It'd be nice if Tesla had some way to get Univision to stop. Basically, they're falsely filing a copyright claim on all these videos, and that's definitely bad.
Right, right. And it's also just bizarre too, because it's not their original content, it's
Yeah.
Tesla's original content. So,
Yeah, it's a video of a
yeah,
robot walking around. It's the
right,
new Teslabot, and Univision wasn't even the first person to post their video. So they basically did a mashup of the B-roll that Tesla provided in their Tesla
right,
video. So like they took multiple areas of the video and kind of like made it, they jazzed it up, and now they're saying that it's theirs. What happens with YouTube if you're a creator, and I haven't experienced this yet, but when someone else uses content that you've used, you get a notice, and you get the ability to essentially you can take their monetization. My Tesla Weekend did a video about this. I think there's other options they have. They can try like to do a copyright strike or something, so that your video doesn't show other things. But Univision is electing to do this other route. We don't know like how high up this goes in Univision, like how pro.
right,
But they did this on U.S. government video of like a congressional hearing, and claimed that the
right,
footage was theirs, even though it was from a U.S. government feed.
right. Yeah, and I don't want to overstate the case, but let's say hypothetically at least, Univision might be one of those actors that over the past couple of decades has done this many times, hypothetically.
Mhm.
So the problem is that, again, you and I, if they claim this against me, what can I do? I have no funding I can't hire a team of 12
Yeah,
lawyers to go in there and fight this for 2 years to get $1,000 back, or whatever the
yeah.
amount of money is that I would have earned on that. So basically, they're just I guess what would
And
it be? They're
and
like the giant gorilla.
YouTube isn't going to side with us versus
Right,
Univision.
right.
So
Yeah,
like if we dispute it, then we run a risk that it gets upgraded to a copyright strike.
right,
And then when you have a channel on YouTube, you can only get 3 copyright strikes, and then they permanently suspend your channel. So basically, like you lose all that work of building up an audience, through all the videos you've done over time, and
right.
all that great music from your son too,
Yeah,
and
I know.
all
No,
the
it's
love that went
terrifying.
into your channel like goes
Yeah.
away. So like when you get one of these notices, like you can dispute it, but then if they don't side with you, you get a strike. And then if you get 3, then um it's like this existential thing with like
Right.
all this work you've done.
So the upside of disputing it, I guess that's the really, like, the crux of the matter is that the upside potential is however much this video could earn, which relative, however big your channel is, one video is going to be a small fraction of that amount.
Right.
So it's that versus this potential of getting a copyright strike, which has massive negative consequences. So yeah, so I think what these companies probably count on is the fact that people aren't going to fight back. They're just like, oh, okay, fine. I'll just I'll just let you win on this because it doesn't have any effect on my channel besides losing the money. But if you multiply, again, $1,000 is just a completely hypothetical made up number. But if you multiply that by 500 companies, you're looking at $500,000 from somebody clicking a button that says,
Mm.
like, yes, I do, agree to this copyright strike, or not copyright strike, but claim on copyrighted material. And that's pretty insane. It's a good business for them. It's a fast way
Yeah,
to earn a buck.
and YouTube is letting them do it. They run a risk of, if they get enough disputes against it, then maybe YouTube would do something against them. But they're Univision, like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's doubtful that YouTube would. Um, and I'm not sure. Maybe technically Univision is breaking the law by using the system. They are making a misrepresentation.
Right.
But
Right.
I think lying is legal if you're not in court. But like when it comes to copyright claims, lying might be more serious than it may not be legal to lie.
Right, right. Well, and I mean, the way to probably do this would be, but I don't know how even Tesla would do it, because Tesla could go in and say, hey, this is our copyright. But then if they do that, effectively, all the people that posted videos still are in the same situation. It would just transfer over. I guess then Tesla could then dismiss the whole thing and say, we're not interested in collecting this money. But it's complicated. And the problem for even a big company like Tesla, in my mind, is that they got a ton of free publicity out of that. They released the video, but then I don't know. It's like my feed is just full of Teslabot, Teslabot, So
Yeah.
I don't know how many of those videos are out there, but there are a lot of those videos. And that means that they get a huge amount of extra reach. And if there is a chill that's put on that where people don't want to talk about something new that Tesla does, that affects their company as well. So I could see Tesla claiming that they are one of the aggrieved parties, because it is clearly their copyrighted material. If anybody wants to put a copyright claim, it would be them, because they released the material itself.
Some people are wondering is, does a copyright struggle with a channel or a topic, does that end up diminishing the topic?
Mm,
So they're wondering, is Univision targeting Tesla? Um,
right.
yeah, I'm curious to learn more about that. I don't think we'll get an answer to that, but I'm curious, like what the YouTube algorithm does when there's these copyright struggles over certain content.
Yeah. And that's one of the problems with YouTube's sort of policy here, is that clearly, again, this all scrolls back to the DMCA being a very poor piece of legislation. Let's just
Mhm.
put it that way. There needs to be an update to the DMCA, to bring it appropriately into the 21st century. One of the big things is that the fair usage of this is, even if Tesla wanted to lay claim to the copyright, and they're the ones who could do this, there is a educational, reuse, fair usage clause that says that if you're talking about it and you're saying, um, I think you were talking about how Scott was, saying like, oh, this part's got like the soft cloth so that it won't pinch or something.
Yeah,
That is adding context to the video, which is
yeah.
very important. And so it is a refiguring. I don't know. There's that whole thing of like, how much change do you have to do the original video before it doesn't count as copyrighted anymore? But all of that stuff is very much weighted towards the side of the original copyright claimant, even if they're incorrect about that, even if it's not their copyright claim. There's the big fish have a lot of advantages given the regulations.
Yeah. I'm not sure what creators need to do to prevent these automatic claims from happening on just like a
Right.
simple fair use. Whether it's putting your head in the lower corner,
Right.
but like are we gonna have to like put scrolls on the bottom
Right.
to prevent it? We don't want to make it annoying. We want to make our videos more interesting to watch.
Right.
We're just two white guys talking. It,
Right.
and that can get boring to watch after a while, is
Yeah.
just watching people talk. And so we want to be able to put B-roll on our videos to
Right.
um, just help people just be more engaged, and help hold attention a little bit.
Right. Well, we were just talking right before we started recording about stock photography and videography sites, and how that's pretty much their pitch, is like, look, you have a problem because you purchased this from us. So, and I know a lot of people do that. And then other people just sort of whole hog take pieces of other videos. Maybe that's how I got around. I was actually thinking about that, because I did it based on X. I had my head in the corner and the video wasn't full screen. So maybe that's the reason why Univision hasn't come after me yet. Again, knock on wood.
Mm.
I'm wondering after this video if they're suddenly going to go like, wait, what about you? Yeah, exactly. So we will see what happens afterwards. But I wonder if that might have been the reason why, because clearly it was on X and clearly my head was in the picture. So maybe that sort of affected the way that it was. I also almost never use sound clips, certainly not music, from other people's videos, because
Right.
that seems to be the one that just instantly even 3 seconds of something. In fact, I was watching late night Seth Meyers, whatever, where they were doing the scream from the Who, Roger Daltrey goes, yeah,
Uh-huh.
that thing. Apparently they couldn't even like afford the rights for the scream, which is not even music. It's just a couple of seconds. So
Uh-huh.
it's absolutely crazy how nuts this stuff can get. So yeah, a little behind the scenes
Yeah,
like
and
information.
the other thing that's nutty is like you can also buy the rights for stuff from Adobe,
Hmm.
but you
Hmm.
can't like let YouTube know that, hey, here's my license for this.
Right.
So then if and I ran into this with the Make a Pack video where I put some music in, I synced the grand reveal to this music,
Right.
and I paid for the rights. I had a license key, but I have to like wait for YouTube to flag it before I can drop the license
Right.
key in there and show it. And it makes me very anxious because like again, I don't want to run afoul of Adobe. I don't want to run afoul of YouTube.
Right. Right.
I just want to make content and share.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I guess it's sort of follow the money, but that's one of the reasons. Like, I mean, I appreciate my son's music and he's a great composer, but I also use his music because I'm like guaranteed that, this is not going to get a copyright strike because, well, first of all, I've agreed with him about it, but second of all, it's my own thing that he made for me. So unless you're going to get bespoke music, it really is a problem, or you get it off YouTube's site, in which case they make their own money off
Yeah.
that. But I had that happen with my other channel. I have like a kind of an outdoor adventure channel.
Ooh.
And I had this was ages ago. This was like a decade ago. And I did this really pretty thing with like Pachelbel's Canon, and it was all completely like copyright free. Had the information, and YouTube back at that time, what they did do is they didn't copyright strike it. They just removed the soundtrack. So there's just a huge chunk of this video where there's no sound at all. And I was like, and it was very popular. It had like 150,000 views or something. And I was like, come
Wow.
on, man. Yeah. So it's like, that's just terrible.
Uh,
So nowadays it's a little different. What they'll do is just take all your money instead. But it was very unfair because I specifically had copyright free music
uh-huh.
that I was using, but there wasn't even a process to request to make the change. They're just like, we removed this. And it's like, well, there's nothing I can do. So I don't know. Actually, you said that you have, do you have
Yeah,
like
let
that
me share my
screen?
screen. So
Yeah. To show us what
yeah,
options you have now after you get this strike, what you can do
yeah.
about it.
And I actually didn't check my email. So I think what Farzad was seeing was either a notification or maybe it's just an email to the login. Let me
Right.
hide that.
Right.
So right here we get the
Okay.
notification. This video cannot be monetized. And then if we go to view
Oh,
options,
so how long after you posted this did they hit you with that? Because it looks like it was pretty fast.
yeah, I think it was fast. And the other pieces like we had um these early versions of the video that were up
Right.
that we deleted or renamed, and it gave us those videos
Wow.
cannot be monetized for all three of them. So I hope like somehow I hope not that somehow we get like 3 copyright strikes from one video. These other
Right.
videos have been it says you deleted this video.
Okay.
I think we just renamed it, but
Right.
still. So
Well, on the good end of things, it doesn't say copyright strike. It just says video cannot be monetized. So
yeah.
at least there's that, I guess.
So
But
then we go into to view our options. It says it's calling it a content ID claim. Um, it doesn't affect my channel if I kind of just let it go.
right.
Um, it's it's just alerting me that my video is public right now and that it cannot be monetized. And then okay, that's too long. And then it tells me the video that Univision is claiming is theirs, and what portion of my video it's using, um
Right. Right.
or what portion of my video is overlapped, and then it's saying my video cannot be monetized. But in addition to that, ad revenue paid to copyright owner. So like Univision doesn't own this.
Right. Right.
They've made a claim, and Tesla actually owns it. And if things just stay the same, Univision's going to get paid on a video that's not theirs,
Right.
or a
The other
copyright
point
that's
that
not theirs.
the other point that I think it's important to make here is that notice that all of the ad revenue goes to them. So there have been a lot of circumstances where you'll have an hour-long video, somebody will make a claim on 20 seconds of it, and they get all the ad revenue. And it's like, that's on its face ridiculous as well. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, fine, you should get 20 seconds of a 60-minute video's worth of revenue, not
the reason
not
isn't
100%.
for
So the way,
monetization, but
again, like I said, the whole thing is weighted very
I don't
heavily
besmirch anyone who
towards large
is
companies that
motivated
can
by
make
that.
copyright claims. Right.
So it's a bit of a tough decision.
I don't know this for a fact, but I have heard that there are farms out there of people, you know, automated mostly, but just looking and looking and looking for anything that you can make a copyright claim on, and then you can take that and just grab all of the money that that video made. So it's again very, very stacked. It's not a level playing field.
I think the name for that is DMCA trolls, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, but you know, it's like, go out there, do that, and then most people are just going to say like, it's not worth it because like you said, the big thing is that YouTube even helps them out with that language. They're like, this doesn't affect your channel. But if you go to the next step and escalate this thing and they do a copyright strike against you, then you've got, like you said, an existentially huge problem on your hands, because you can only get 3 of those.
Let's go into my choice then.
Yeah.
So
a little bit of a
says select action.
Right.
So I can trim out the segment that violates it,
right,
allegedly. But then it cuts out the video and audio. So it
right,
wouldn't just like make the screen blank and then there's the audio of Scott doing the Scott Walter doing the explanation.
right.
It would just like remove that from the video and there'd be some awkward skip that happens.
Because it's a chunk. It's about a minute, right? Something like that.
Yeah, it was like 30 to 40 seconds.
Right.
I can dispute it, but then I can run into issues. So it says dispute a claim if you have necessary rights to the content or other valid reasons. I do have valid reasons, but I'm Rebellionaire. I'm not Univision, so not going to be sided with probably. Takes 30 days for a final resolution. Your channel won't get a strike if your dispute gets rejected.
Oh, well, okay, at least there's that.
So maybe I do dispute it. Oh, and then it goes into things from here. So like the rules are different than they were a year ago. Or so if you're looking at old content, so it's just going through the various steps here. I don't want Univision to keep being able to do this, but like,
right.
I don't want them to get money from my video. So like I could trim out the segment. The video is doing well. I personally don't care about the monetization.
Right.
I think if I dispute it, it's not going to really affect how much the video gets shown. So for me, for YouTube, I'm not using it to get money. I'm using it to get my message out there, to educate investors, to share our original research. Yeah, the reason isn't for a monetization, but I don't besmirch anyone who is motivated by that.
Right.
So it's a bit of a tough decision. I guess if I dispute, it says I won't receive a strike, so that that feels better to dispute.
Yeah, yeah. Because that's always the concern, is if you escalate it, that it's going to result in worse outcomes than it does currently. So, and again, here it's really more the principle of it. I mean the mono.
Essentially,
Yeah,
essentially it's theft.
yeah, yeah.
And what if I didn't notice this thing on my dashboard, and I don't check the email address I use to log in to
Right. Neither do I.
YouTube. I may
Yeah.
not have ever known, and then Univision just got that money.
Right. Right. Yeah, and like I said, I believe that what they say they're doing is they're escrowing the money, but there's probably a timeout period after a month or two if you don't dispute it, and it just goes right to them.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna dispute it. I'm deciding right now.
yeah, all right. Push the button. Of course, I won't make everybody watch you go through it because I'm sure
Well,
there'll probably be a bunch of, oh, okay. I'm an owner, I'm not making money. I gave
oh, I
credit.
did not give credit to the copyright owner. Huh.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. So my dispute isn't based on any of the reasons above. Well, there you go. Okay. I'm actually really curious. We'll see what happens here.
Okay, copyright exceptions such as fair
Fair
use.
use. Yeah. Okay. Plus the
Um,
fact they don't own the freaking copyright. So that's the problem. That should actually be one of the dispute possibilities is that the person that's a claimant doesn't actually own the copyright to this. So Univision, you're saying what they did was they sort of jazzed up that video and then they said that it's theirs now because they jazzed it
yeah,
up. Yeah,
yeah.
which is crazy. So, all right. Oh yeah, so
Uh,
there we
uh,
go.
I'm gonna say Tesla owns this video.
Well, and you can say, and
Uh,
this was being used as educational content. Very interesting.
Educational purposes.
The claimant will be able to review my video. I think you need to say what type of reuse you're using it up there for. Like there's a drop
Oh,
down
okay,
menu.
yep.
Yeah. So, yeah,
Reaction for
educational.
educational.
Yeah, that seems to make sense. Fraudulent disputes. Oh, wow. That's a significant one. I can't see how this is fraudulent, but that's
Yeah,
really
so
interesting.
like that's pretty existential, so I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. We'll leave this to be continued.
Well, thank you for at least like it's really good to see the steps that you can do, but that is a
Because
pretty
my
existential.
dispute is not fraudulent, but
Right.
again, I'm just a little fish. So they
Yeah,
might say
exactly.
it's fraudulent.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's the problem is
And
that
you don't get to talk to a human, you know.
right. Right. I get, yeah, it all looked pretty good until that last thing that you had to check the box. That's like your channel's like if it happens. So yeah, that's a problem. I don't know what
It
that
says,
definitely puts a chill.
I understand that filing fraudulent disputes may result in a termination of my YouTube account.
Right. That
I'm gonna
seems like
I'm
it
gonna
seems
check
like
the
you're
box.
yeah, I think you're probably protected on that because even if they side against you, I can't imagine how they could say it was fraudulent since you have reason to believe that the copyrighted material was not Univision's and it was educational. So I think you're, I don't know. It's not my money, like I said, or it's not my channel. If it was mine, I would be very hesitant. Because as you say at the beginning, my channel's 4 years old. It's taken a long time to ramp to this sort
Yeah.
of level of I don't know, whatever it is that people watch it, that it's got a reputation, and that would just be that. I follow watch channels, and just one more watch had that problem. His channel somehow got like a copyright. I don't know. It happened
Mhm.
like instantly. It basically went like we're removing your channel, and that was his primary income source. And I think a couple 100,000 followers and everything. And suddenly he was just like poof, it's gone. And he was able to talk to a human and get it reinstated because it turned out it was like a mistake.
Mm.
But talk about a stressful couple of days trying to deal with that one. Jeez. So anyway, shout out to Jordy if you happen to be watching this. I doubt you will be, but
I'm gonna
you never.
I'm gonna share what it says. So it says
Oh, so you did
dispute,
do it. Okay.
disputes will be sent to the claimant for review. YouTube does not review content ID
What?
disputes. The claimant
Oh,
now has 30 days to review. If they do not respond within 30 days, the claim will be released automatically. We'll send you an email. So does the claimant just have like all the power here?
I guess so, because if YouTube's not even reviewing it, that means so at some point they have to be the arbiter. Because what if Univision says, no, that is our material? Like, that's crazy.
So now it talks about the escrow that you were talking
Yeah, there
about.
we go. Okay. So I guess that's, yeah, that is absolutely nuts. Like I said, it really, really feels like the whole playing field is like it like this to the big players, because that's tough that YouTube won't even step in if they need to. It seems like they should have some sort of binding arbitration where they're the arbiter if it comes down to it. I don't know. That seems crazy. I don't know. So how
YouTube
you
does
feel?
everything right. YouTube does
Yes, sorry.
everything
Yes,
right.
sorry. YouTube is awesome. We love YouTube. Actually, I do love YouTube. I mean, it's amazing that they
Yes.
have this stuff. It's just this is a situation where I feel like they could be it's a little bit like, yo, we're just washing our hands of it and we don't want anything to do with this. It's like, well, you're the one who's passing on the claim. You should have some responsibility for it. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this will be really interesting to see if suddenly my channel starts getting all kinds of copyright infringement claims and everything, and YouTube like stomps on it. But anyhow, so yeah, so thank you so much for walking through us. And how do you feel after filing the claim?
I feel okay. Very slightly nervous, but
Yeah,
I don't think after like one dispute that for whatever reason they may deem fraudulent,
right.
that they would get rid of my account. So it feels better that like even though I'm disputing, it won't result in a strike.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
feel better about that. And you've shared, kind of how we can um, add these little clips in, while not triggering
Right.
something. So this is
It does
good.
seem like that.
I feel better after talking with you, John. Thank you.
Okay, well, there we go. I mean, I am your therapist. There we go. My brother actually is a therapist, and I've always said I would make the world's worst therapist because I'm like, just get out there and do it and stop being a wuss. So anyway, um,
Let's see
yeah.
your
So
coffee mug. We don't have to see mine, but let's see your mug.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I've got this is actually my original one, just with the logo on it. I've got over here someplace. Yep, got a Cybertruck one. That one's cool, and a bunch of other ones. The Teslabot one's still my favorite one because that was actually my son's idea. The guy who does the music, Kenley,
Mhm.
he so it was the first design that I came up with for my channel ages ago, and long before Tesla introduced Teslabot. But he was like, what if you did something that was like Optimus and Tesla? And I was like, oh, the logo, the T logo would fit in there perfectly. So, so anyway, but it was his inspiration to do that original design. So speaking of copyright stuff, I guess if Tesla really wanted to, they could be like that T is ours in there. So
Mhm.
then it would be interesting. But unfortunately, Tesla does not seem to be that kind of a company to go after the little guys for
Yeah.
utilizing things. Anyway, so thank you so much for talking to us today. This has really been a fascinating kind of side journey. I know it's not the main thing that this channel talks about, but it is important because it affects the way that we can communicate with audiences, and it affects
Mhm.
the way that Tesla gets its word out since they don't do traditional advertising. And so there's a lot of knock-on effects of this act. And if anybody from Congress happened to be listening, it would be time to revisit this act and bring it up to date because it really has some problems and it's been abused over the years. I don't know. Any final thoughts from you?
I just think it's important to support your creators. We're supporting creators on X by extending our verified org badge to them. This helps boost their exposure a little bit on X, helps them grow faster, but also support John on Patreon. And if you can become a member of his channel on YouTube, that'd be great too. Do you have a subscription thing on X as well, John?
I do. I do. Yeah.
Yep.
And of course, people should go to rebellionaire.com and check it out. It's a really, really, I love the added. What's your tagline? It's like, you're like the anti-investment company. You do it like backwards from everybody else. It's not, it's much more elegantly stated than that, but
Yeah, real briefly, it's like when people who are all in Tesla, they go to a financial advisor. the financial advisor, they're not used to seeing an account that's like 90% or more in Tesla or whatever it
Right.
is. And they laugh into
Right.
person's face. And what's crazy about this is, depending on when you invested, like you beat the crap out of Wall Street
Right. Right.
by doing that. And someone's laughing at your success. And then the second thing they tell you is like, if you want any kind of other financial advice with the rest of your finances, like for them to make a financial plan that's customized to your situation, they say, well, if you want to work with us, you got to sell 50 to 90% of your Tesla. Otherwise we're just not comfortable, with what you got going on. So, that this is something where, we're helping people out without, forcing them to sell their concentrated position. It's their money, it's their choice. And,
Right. Right.
we can't dictate that to someone else.
Cool. Yeah, and I really love that the philosophy. It is a kind of a crazy thing when you talk. I've talked to a couple of financial planners just who happen to be friends, and talk
Mhm.
to them, and they inevitably would do that. They would just be like, "You're concentrated entirely in Apple and Tesla," and then they would just start laughing, and I was like, "But
Uh,
wait, I've done pretty well over the years with concentrating on those two companies." Um, so yeah, I mean, the original Apple investment I made was back in the 1990s, so my ex-wife now has all of it. So shout
mhm.
out to her. So that's what happens when you get divorced, but it has done very well for itself considering it was like
Yeah.
$500 that we invested back then, which was a lot, honestly, because we were very broke at the
And
time.
the other thing that's offensive is like they might say you were lucky.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
like a lot of the people that went all in on Tesla is like very deep
yeah,
research and like very obsessively following the developments in the company. It
right.
wasn't luck, it was hard work.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. It's I don't know. There's a if people haven't seen Dumb Money, my son actually worked in that. He's got a credit in the
Oh,
movie.
cool.
Yeah, and it's a really good movie. It makes you realize again, speaking of playing fields being tipped,
Mm,
a lot of these gigantic investment companies have the playing field sort of tipped in their favor. So anyway, I really appreciate the philosophy that you guys have about that. And like I said, that's probably not the way you want to pitch it, but I think about it as the anti-investment company
mhm.
because you're like, yeah, concentrate. If you've done the deep dive research, then do it that way. So that's good for you. So yeah, cool. Well, thank you again for talking. And yeah, we'll touch base again maybe in a month or something like that once you hear word back and see how things went. Hopefully they'll go well. I have a feeling that Univision will probably back down on these claims if people make them.
Mhm.
I'm just guessing because they really can't ultimately say that it's their copyrighted material at the beginning. So anyway,
The
but we'll
second
see.
half of the season is coming out in January.
Right. Yeah, exactly. There we go. So stay tuned for 2024. We'll find out. All right. Thank you again, Bradford. I really do appreciate it.
Yep.
Everybody have a lovely day. Make sure you follow Rebellionaire on X. Go check them out. Follow me on X and on YouTube, etc. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.